There's a quiet crisis happening in backyards all across the world. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't trend on social media. But it determines whether your tomatoes thrive or struggle, whether your cucumbers explode with life or sit small and pale. The crisis is not pests. It's not weather. It's not even fertilizer. The crisis is dead soil. And most gardeners don't even realize they are planting into something that has already lost its life. Because here's the truth that smart gardeners understand. Soil is not dirt. Dirt is lifeless. Soil is alive. And the difference between the two is everything. If you scoop up a handful of healthy soil, you're holding billions of living organisms. Bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, arthropods, a hidden universe working together beneath your feet. This underground network feeds your plants, protects their roots, moves nutrients, holds water, and even communicates danger signals. When that living system collapses, your plants are left alone. They become dependent on synthetic fertilizers. They grow weaker. They attract more pests. And the cycle continues. But smart gardeners break that cycle. They don't fight nature. They rebuild it. The first thing intelligent gardeners do when they encounter dead dirt is stop disturbing it. That might sound strange. Most people think the answer is to till, dig, flip, and break everything apart. But excessive tilling shatters fungal networks, exposes microorganisms to sunlight, and destroys the very structure that allows soil to breathe. Healthy soil is like a sponge. It has pores and tunnels created by roots and earthworms. When you repeatedly till, you collapse that architecture. Smart gardeners shift toward low-till or no-dig methods. They understand that soil structure is sacred. Instead of turning the soil aggressively, they begin by feeding it. And the most powerful food for soil is not chemical fertilizer. It's organic matter. Compost is a foundation. Rich, dark, crumbly compost introduces microorganisms and feeds existing ones. It improves structure, increases water retention, and slowly releases nutrients in a balanced way. But compost is more than fertilizer. It is microbial life delivered in bulk. A thin layer spread across the surface can completely change the biology underneath. And here is where the transformation begins. Because soil life feeds on carbon. When you add compost, shredded leaves, straw, wood chips, or grass clippings, you are giving the soil energy. Think of it like stocking a pantry. Microorganisms consume organic matter and, in the process, convert nutrients into plant-available forms. This is the magic most gardeners miss. Plants don't primarily eat fertilizer. They trade with microbes. Roots release sugars. Microbes deliver nutrients. It's a biological marketplace underground. Smart gardeners also use mulch, and they use it generously. Bare soil is stress soil. When soil sits exposed under the sun, temperatures spike, moisture evaporates, and microbial life declines. Nature never leaves soil uncovered. In forests, fallen leaves create a natural blanket. In meadows, plant residues protect the surface. By adding mulch, gardeners mimic natural ecosystems. A 2 to 4 inch layer of organic mulch regulates temperature, reduces evaporation, prevents erosion, and slowly decomposes into future soil. Over time, mulch becomes humus, the stable organic matter that gives soil its rich, dark color and sponge-like texture. But organic matter alone is not the whole story. Smart gardeners grow their soil. They plant cover crops. Instead of leaving beds empty between seasons, they sow legumes, clover, vetch, rye, or buckwheat. These plants are not grown for harvest. They are grown to restore life underground. Their roots penetrate compacted layers. Their leaves protect the surface. Their decomposition feeds microbes. Legumes even partner with nitrogen-fixing bacteria to pull nitrogen from the air and store it in the soil. When cut and left in place, cover crops become green manure, a natural nutrient boost that builds structure at the same time. Another clever strategy is diversity. Monoculture weakens soil biology. When you plant the same crop repeatedly in the same spot, you favor certain microbes and suppress others. Nutrient imbalances appear. Pests specialize. Smart gardeners rotate crops. They mix plant families. They interplant herbs, flowers, and vegetables together. Different roots exude different sugars, attracting different microbial communities. The more diversity above ground, the more resilience below ground. Water management also plays a crucial role. Dead dirt either turns to dust or becomes a hard, cracked surface after rain. Living soil absorbs water deeply and releases it slowly. To rebuild this ability, gardeners avoid compaction. They don't walk on beds. They create permanent paths. They add compost and mulch consistently. Over time, earthworms return. Their tunnels improve aeration and drainage. Worm castings enrich fertility naturally. The soil begins to feel loose and alive beneath your fingers. One of the most overlooked elements in soil revival is patience. Nature works in layers. You cannot dump a bag of fertilizer and expect life to appear overnight. Smart gardeners think in seasons, not days. The first year might show modest improvement. The second year brings noticeable change. By the third year, something remarkable happens. Plants grow stronger with less effort. Pests decrease. Watering needs reduce. The system stabilizes. There's also the concept of mycorrhizal fungi, a hidden partnership that transforms plant growth. These beneficial fungi attach to plant roots and extend far into the soil, increasing the effective root system dramatically. They transport phosphorus, water, and micronutrients in exchange for sugars. But heavy tilling and chemical inputs disrupt these networks. By reducing disturbance and increasing organic matter, smart gardeners invite mycorrhizae back into the system. Once established, they act like an underground internet connecting plants together. Mineral balance matters too, but it's often misunderstood. Instead of blindly adding fertilizers, experienced gardeners test their soil. They look at pH levels. They examine calcium, magnesium, potassium, and trace minerals. Sometimes soil isn't dead because it lacks nutrients. It's dead because nutrients are locked up. Biology unlocks minerals. Compost improves cation exchange capacity, meaning the soil can hold and exchange nutrients effectively. This is long-term fertility, not quick feeding. Another powerful technique is compost tea or microbial inoculants. By brewing compost in aerated water, gardeners multiply beneficial organisms and apply them directly to soil or foliage. This can accelerate biological recovery, especially in severely degraded soils. However, these are enhancements, not replacements. The foundation always remains organic matter and reduced disturbance. Let's talk about weeds. Many gardeners see weeds as enemies. Smart gardeners see them as indicators. Certain weeds thrive in compacted soil. Others signal nutrient imbalances. Instead of immediately reaching for herbicides, intelligent growers ask why the weed is present. Often, weeds are nature's repair crew, sending roots deep into hard ground, pulling minerals upward, covering exposed soil. When cut and left in place, even weeds become organic matter. Composting kitchen scraps, garden waste, and fallen leaves closes a loop. Nothing leaves the system. Nutrients cycle continuously. Instead of buying fertility, you create it. Instead of throwing away organic waste, you transform it. This shift from consumer to steward changes everything. And then there is a psychological shift. Dead dirt encourages control. Living soil encourages partnership. When you see soil as a living ecosystem, your approach softens. You observe more. You interfere less. You begin to trust biological processes. The garden becomes less about forcing growth and more about facilitating it. Within a few seasons of applying these principles, no-dig practices, heavy mulching, compost additions, cover cropping, crop rotation, diversity, and careful watering, the transformation becomes visible. Soil that was once pale and dusty becomes dark and crumbly. Earthworms multiply. Water soaks in quickly instead of running off. Plants develop thicker stems and deeper green leaves. Yields increase naturally. Perhaps the most powerful realization is this: healthy soil is self-sustaining. Once biological systems are functioning, they continue building fertility on their own. Leaves fall. Roots decay. Microbes process. Worms tunnel. Fungi expand. It becomes a regenerative cycle. In a world where quick fixes dominate gardening advice, the clever way stands apart. It is slow at first. It requires observation. It asks for patience. But it produces something synthetic fertilizers never can: resilience. Living soil buffers against drought. It reduces disease pressure. It balances nutrients naturally. It creates flavor in food that chemical feeding cannot replicate. So when someone asks how smart gardeners turn dead dirt into living, thriving soil, the answer is both simple and profound. They stop treating soil like an object and start treating it like an ecosystem. They feed it. They protect it. They grow it. They give it time. And in return, the soil gives back abundance. The next time you step into your garden, kneel down and press your fingers into the earth. Ask yourself, is this dirt or is this soil? If it feels lifeless, don't be discouraged. Life can return. With compost, mulch, diversity, and patience, you can rebuild the underground world that makes everything else possible. Because a real secret smart gardeners know is this: when you fix the soil, you fix everything.